to continue the report, I am CARAQUI-AN Joy. So, multiple product categories. It will sometimes be case the forecast demand the superior product category is low that EMR value for the marginal units for the category will fall to a level below. The EMR value for a marginal inventory units is an inferior product category with high forecasted demand. For example, there may only be a 25% probability that anyone will rent that last Cadillac for $100 per day, while there is a 75% probability that someone will want to the last Chevrolet at $60 per day. When is this case, inventory units in the superior category should be artificially transferred to the inferior category. That Cadillac are Chevrolets. Units the EMR value of the last unit transferred is the same whether it's the sold superior class and unit. Customers are unlikely to mind the Chevrolet is reserved turns to be a Cadillac. So the ability fine-tune capacity. To the extent that is practically to chef capacity is this manner. The guiding principle is this: chef is inventory from the low EMR location to higher EMR location until EMR values are equalized for the allocation, taking into the account any marginal out-of-pocket expenses involved in shifting and capacity. As long as the EMR value for the unit location B exceeds its EMR value at location A over some period of time by more than the cost of moving it from the A to B, should make the move. 14 airlines are currently evaluating a concept known as demand-driven dispatch. In this concept, the airline would be generically schedule a set of round-trip flights departing and returning to a hub city about the same time to be operated with 737 equipment. As the day departure approached, the level demand for each flight become more certain. A specific model of 73715 would be assigned to each flight in the set as to equalize the EMR values of each flight. So the over and even longer planning horizon is possible to buy incremental units of production in this industry in order to further fine-tune the level of available inventory. The guiding principle is this: you should buy more or larger units of the capacity, as long as sums of EMR values of the incremental of the units inventory that can be produced exceed the marginal cost of the operating the additional or larger capacity by amount the sufficient of the worn capital investment. For example, the fleet buyer should continue buy to Chevrolet the location, as long as the EMR value the more Chevrolet exceed the cost servicing the car by amount equal to net capital cost of the car after result over the expected service life with the firm. So the self-up potential. There is usually some probability that a customer, when denied a booking, a lower rate class, will agree to buy requested service at the applicable rate. For a higher rate class, for example, is the Auto Saver airfare is $200 is sold order to ride out, he may be willing to be $250 per Super Saver airfares in order to ride the flight in his choice. This probability also needs to be factored into the AMR formula. To this one need merely to reflect the fact the expected revenue from turn away potential Auto Saver passenger zero. It's the $250 Super Saver rate times the probability that he will OPT to pay that higher fare. Sale process can be developed to the productively stir demand. So the application of the sale of rates, a simple rate toward, let us consider the slightly more complicated case where all sale of the potential steps that balance the marginal situation. In this example, there is one unit of inventory remaining available for sale. There is a 40% probability that is $100 full rate customer Well, ultimately, order this last unit. There is the customer standing in front of you who is willing to buy it right now for 50%. However, there are also a 25% probability that will pay this full $100. Is if this rate, tell them they can't buy if for $50. Should you sell him a unit at $50? So, however, early attempts to practice this strategy were such dismal financial failures that consideration of sell-up potential was quickly put in the proper perspective. Suppose that the first example, the actual probability of successful sell-off was a more realistic. 40% half break Brent to rate. It was a case he would lose the average of $100 per prospective passenger. Each time he held up the higher fare because of the $250 times rate of the 40%, then the spell recapture potential. In several target industry, there will be someone probability that a customer will denied a booking in his requested rate. Category is preferred time, while choose to purchase the same product in the requested rate category from your firm, but a different time period. For example, an airline customer who is unable to secure a booking is suspended to saver rate on the 5 p.m. flight may elect to book at a super saver rate on the 7 p.m. flight as his second choice. We say that this customer has been spiled this from PM flight to 7 p.m. flight. The probability that this may occur has an impact on the inventory allocation process that that's of the sell-up concept handled by similar manner in the valuation model. Overbooking. In the travel industry, no-show rates often vary by rate, class, market segments, and time period. The cost of the failing to honor customer booking, including the both of out-pocket costs such as compensation to bump airline passenger, and a consideration for the potential loss of the future revenue from the disgruntled the customer, must also be calculated. Airlines attempt to minimize customer it will be the compensating the passenger who voluntarily request their reservation with the free tickets. With this information, the expected oversell cost, probably the number of the oversell times the total cost to the oversell, can be calculated for any level of overbooking above the actual number of the inventory units available for sale. The correct level overbooking is the expected cost the oversell for the next sold equal to EMR value of next unit to be sold. As so this is the revenue management challenges by the industry. First is the inventory allocation challenges, industry airlines, hotel, car rental, rent and transportation, healthcare, broadcasting and telephone, golf, and then that's it. Thank you, ma'am, and mabuhay.